Is our greatest national security nightmare sitting just 90 miles off the Florida coast? While we look to the South China Sea or the borders of Eastern Europe, a silent, high-tech surveillance buildup is unfolding in our own backyard, and it's raising red flags at the highest levels of the U.S. government. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you don't miss our deep dives into the stories that matter most to our national sovereignty. We are looking at fresh satellite analysis of the Bajukal Intelligence Facility outside Havana. This isn't just an old Cold War relic. It's an active, expanding hub of signals intelligence that has experts and officials warning that China and Russia are utilizing the island as a listening post to track American military activity. We are talking about surveillance capabilities pointed right at key West naval operations, the Homestead Air Reserve Base, and the critical launch sites at Cape Canaveral. For years, the chatter about foreign influence in Cuba was often dismissed as speculative. But the evidence now, provided by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, is hard to ignore. They've identified the construction of a massive, circularly disposed antenna array, a CDT, the Bajukal site. This is Cold War-era technology, but it's being deployed with modern, high-frequency direction-finding capabilities. Essentially, it acts like a wide-reaching net, allowing operators to identify the origins of radio signals across thousands of miles. Now, analysts are quick to clarify that this isn't necessarily about hacking our encrypted communications in real time. It's more sophisticated, and in many ways, more dangerous. By monitoring electronic signatures and communication patterns, these foreign entities are playing a long game. They are mapping how our ships move, how our fighter jets train, and how our command centers interact. Over time, these anomalies and patterns reveal our operational playbook. If a system starts talking to another system that it usually doesn't touch, they'll know. They are building a profile of our military readiness, and they are doing it from a front-row seat. Secretary of State Marco Rubio hasn't minced words about this. He's been clear that Cuba isn't just a neighbor. It's a staging ground for Russian and Chinese intelligence that poses a direct threat to the United States. Senator Rick Scott has been even more vocal, warning that with the current geopolitical climate, having these facilities so close is a massive risk to our homeland defense. While Beijing continues to deny any involvement, the pattern of construction mirrors the setups China has installed on military outposts in the South China Sea. The geographical advantage is undeniable. If you're an adversary trying to understand how the U.S. Southern Command functions, you don't need to be in the Pentagon, you just need to be in Havana. This brings us to the broader, more aggressive stance taken by the Trump administration. With new sanctions and mounting pressure on the Cuban leadership, the administration is making it clear that the era of ignoring these threats is over. The calls for a Maduro-style accountability for the regime's power brokers are growing louder. The goal is to force a choice. Either continue to provide a platform for foreign powers to spy on the U.S., or face the full weight of American economic and diplomatic consequences. But this brings up a massive dilemma. How do we respond to a surveillance threat that is technically on sovereign Cuban soil? Do we increase the pressure until the regime cracks, or do we risk a direct standoff with Chinese and Russian intelligence assets operating in our hemisphere? This is a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, and the board is shrinking. So what do you think about this? Should the U.S. take a more aggressive, kinetic approach to dismantling these spy facilities, or is there a diplomatic path that can force them out? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know where you stand on this growing threat. The world is changing, and the threats are coming from directions we used to consider secure. We'll be keeping a very close eye on the satellite reports and the administration's next moves. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next update.